sun is shining in the sky, hardly a cloud in sight, and we are going to have a fantastic race here today.
Drivers, start your engine!
Cause we want retribution. Yeah, we want retribution.
But coming to the green here, it's getting cleaned out real well. Pace cars off, kick some ass.
There's the green flag and we're underway.
Green, 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 green. Outside, still there at your door. Good job, man. Nice and solid. Take care of your stuff.
Three wide.
Here, Hawkins into the wall.
Oh, big trouble!
Crash in the back. Oh, there's a crash in the back.
Trouble.
Great job, doing awesome, buddy.
And hello, race fans. Welcome to the Minnesota Motorsports Park for race number 16 of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. It is the M&M's 400. As always, I'm Elijah Leonard here with you to bring yet another race here, obviously to bring you the action here from the Minnesota Motorsports Park. And boy, oh boy, we're going to have ourselves a very fun one. 200 laps. And this is our first ever race here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. We originally were supposed to go to the Bristol Motor Speedway, but given the, obviously the history that we've had previously with Bristol Motor Speedway in the WRLA McDonald's Cup Series, and how much of a dumpster fire that race was, and as well as what North Wilkesboro was earlier this year for WRLA, we decided to pivot, if you will, and come out over here to the Minnesota Motorsports Park. It is going to be a very fun night of racing. I'm telling you guys, after doing a bunch of testing for this track, you're not gonna want to miss this one. 200 laps of action here at this just shy of 1 mile facility, or just a little over of a mile facility here in Minnesota. I don't even know where to even begin here, because it's been a few weeks since we've been racing here in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. Just in case for those that might have missed it, we were at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. No, we were at Darlington actually at the end of August, which saw Rogel Dorn not only get his first Pepsi Cup Series win, but also scoring Durrani Racing their third win on the year. So now all three cars have gone to victory lane here in 2025. But it's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if they can keep this momentum up heading into tonight's race here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Let's go ahead and take a look at your point standings. And we do want to remind you guys that the good news is, if you're a Terry Walker fan, he just barely holds on to the points lead. But, however, Russell Blaze is still right there. He has just gained 1 point on Terry Walker. So now that gap goes from 5 points down to 4 coming into this race. Very, very close quarters here when it comes to the front two. Both rookies, of course. Terry is yet to score a win this year, but Russell Blaze has already won at Nashville Super Speedway. So we have yet to see a winner. We've, of course, yes, again, I don't even know where to begin, but we've yet to see a winner take the points lead here this season as we take a look at the rest of your points standings. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to be, we're going to see a lot of shakeups here for points. And, man, there really is nothing else I can really bring up. I mean, I don't even know, because my brain is just completely all over the place. But you see the rest of your point standings right there. Nathan Stapleton down pretty low. He's just back down into the top 30 in the points, just back outside of the top 30, if I may say. Then we got Bonsignor Sebastian Vaughn, who's not had himself a good year. CG Halt, whose years just gotten progressively worse as time went on. As time has gone on, but also you have Jerry Rose, Aaron Abel as well. Aaron Abel, of course, not having himself the best of conclusions to his 2025 season. Well, we had ourselves qualifying earlier today. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten the graphics really prepared because I was running very, very tight on time, obviously with work on my end. So here is your starting lineup. As you can see, Joshua Cornish lines up on the front row. While on the pole position, he will lead the field of the green flag alongside Ryan Little in the 27 machine, both of which looking for their first win on the year. Joshua Cornish looking for his second since winning at Phoenix in 2020, and Ryan Little trying to search for his first ever Pepsi Cup Series win, as well as for Vision Motorsports. Wayne Lopez, Martin Nixon, they make up row 2. Chase McClure, Eric Monaco make up the third row. Then Braden Perez and Skylar Taylor, Braden Perez make up row 4. Then Valkyrie Atikin and CG Halt completes your top 10. Now for Halt, as we saw, he was 34th in the point standings. So a good finish here tonight could catapult him just a little bit, maybe just inside of the top 30. We'll find out after tonight. You got Zachary Fitzwater, Claire Phillips. Phillips is another driver that really needs a great run in the point standings. Really needs a great run to catapult her up just a little bit further up in the points. Of course, she is 30th coming in. Then you got Alexander Rowe, Bruno Diacomo, Zachary Taylor, Val Moscow, Jerry Rose, Jordan Sumner, Noah Clifton, Reagan Whitlock completing your top 20. Then we have Quentin Moore, our Auto Club Speedway winner. Then Tanner Parton, who won at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in 2023. Emily Anderson, who is the all-time winningest driver in WRLA history. Then Kyle Craven, Sebastian Vaughn, Andrew Ramsey Rogeldorn, our previous winner from Darlington. Then Roberto Crown Jr., Stephen Colon, who won at Rockingham and Sonoma earlier this year. Then Aaron Abel, who comes into this race dead last in points. Nathan Stapleton, who comes into this race exactly where he's starting right now, 31st in the standings. So he's definitely going to have his work cut out for him coming into this one. Then it's Ray Atikian in the 45, both of the Walkers, father and son, starting in row number 17. Points leader Terry Walker's definitely going to have his work cut out for him for sure. Wyatt Walker, whose season has just been progressively getting worse and worse as the year has gone on. Then we have Ajax Fitzgerald. There's Nia Steidel in the number 6, starting in the 36th position. Andrew Miller, Caleb Rose, Abby Walker, Russell Blaze, the runner-up in the point standings, starting 40th. But one thing that we're going to have to watch out for, as you see Campbell Marsh and Alex Bonsignor make up the final row for this 42-car field. But one thing to really see that we're going to have to keep an eye out for is that this race, we're going to see a lot of drivers that started at the back. They're going to come up to the front, and all the drivers that started up at the front, they're going to fade back. There is going to be a lot of great racing, lots of great passing. This is the race you're going to want to watch here, and this is the one you're definitely not going to want to miss. Don't even go to a different stream. This is WRLA Pepsi Cup Racing from here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, so let's go trackside to get the command to fire these engines.
Are you ready? Drivers, start your engines!
And there it is. Engines are fired, pace car is rolling off, and so are these 42 drivers. After tonight, there will be 5 races left. 5 points-paying races left for the Pepsi Cup Series. And then we want to remind you, after Homestead Miami, which will be on November 1st, if I remember correctly, the last 2 races of the season are makeup races. On Veterans Day, November 11th, we'll be at Charlotte, and then November 15th, we'll be at Pocono to round out the 23 race schedule. But here tonight, we're racing at Minnesota. The pace car pulls off. Jordan and Joshua Cornish and Ryan Little, they're going to lead the field of the green flag to get this race started from here in Minnesota. Cornish breaks away with the lead to open things up, but look at Wayne Lopez just absolutely send it through turn number 4 to make it 3 wide. Is Chase McClure in the 52, but Cornish is going to lead lap number 1. McClure trying to hang on the bottom side, but that middle groove going through 1 and 2 is going to be the preferred way to go, and then the bottom through 3 and 4 is definitely going to be the strongest. We see that here with Valkyria Tikin here in the 23, already darting her way down to the inside. Oh, one car already down on the yellow line. That is the 99 of Noah Clifton. Now, there is no out of bounds, so you can just touch that yellow line and not get penalized, so no harm, no foul here for Noah Clifton as he starts to progress his way up through the field. 4 wide. Look at over here with points leader Terry Walker. You got Nathan Stapleton in the middle of that fiasco. Bruno Giacomo had to back off, so he is right behind Walker and Stapleton. But what great heads-up driving early on in the going. Terry Walker in this 48. That points lead would have absolutely went bye-bye if that 4-wide scenario went wrong. But Walker still hanging on as of right now. He has made his way up to the 25th position and is already starting to pick off cars left and right. There's Claire Phillips in the number 5. She started just inside of the top 10 or just outside of the top 10. She's faded all the way back to 22nd and is losing even more spots. A little bit of contact back over here. There's Bruno Giacomo up against the outside wall. He just tacked it going through turn number 4. Nia Steidel on the bottom of your screen just ended up clipping the grass, but now she fades all the way back here with Wyatt Walker in the 19, Stephen Colon in the 25. But lots going on here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Meanwhile, back up front, Skylar Taylor now has the lead. Zachary Taylor, no relation between these two. In the 85, maybe going to try to make a move down to the inside, but no, Chase McClure is going to beat him to the punch as they come off of turn number 4. And Taylor is going to lead another lap. Skylar Taylor in the 41, that is. Valkyria Tikin just stalking on the back bumper of the 85 of Zachary Taylor. Maybe looking to try to get to the inside and not so fast. I mean, look at Jerry Rose and that 00, rocketing his way down to the inside of Skylar Taylor, making his way up to the 2nd position as you saw Chase McClure take the lead. A little bit of 4-wide action going on over here. You got Alex Bonsinger on the bottom. Thankfully, they were able to get out of that scenario, so Bonsinger, unfortunately, is going to get the worst end of that one as he's going to fall back, but regain all those positions as quickly as he lost them. 4 wide up here with Fitzwater, Nixon, Fitzgerald, and Wayne Lopez. But man, such spectacular racing that we're seeing here early in the going at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. 3 abreast here between Fitzy, Cornish, and Fitzgerald. As Chase McClure continues to lead this one, we're going to come up to the front of the field. And here comes the 00 of Jerry Rose to the inside. Textbook pass clears him for the lead. And Jerry Rose goes out front. And how about our previous winner from Darlington? That is the 86 of Rogel Dorn. Trying to make something happen, but he's going to fall way back, and he'll tuck in that 3rd spot for the moment. Meanwhile, CG Holt, he came into this race 34th in the points standings. Jerry Rose not doing any better as he's 35th, but both of them being up front means absolutely everything as Holt is going to lead his first lap of the night. Oh, but you also got Rogel all over the back bumper of this 86 of the 17 of CG Holt. What is he going to do? Is he going to make a move? If he was planning on it, he's a little too late, because here comes Jordan Sumner in the number 20 down on the inside. She's got second, but is going to slip back a little bit as that middle groove, hold up, not so fast. Jordan Sumner is making that bottom line work, and she's going to get the lead coming off of the fourth quarter, but also not so fast. Here comes Zachary Taylor in the 85. He's going to steal the lead back, heading into turn number 1. My oh my, such spectacular action that we're seeing here in Minnesota. It's just unbelievable of how all these drivers are still fighting it out side by side, not giving each other an inch. And now here comes Zachary Fitzwater underneath of Taylor, 3 wide for the lead. McClure almost had that work. He almost made it work. But now he's going to start to slip back a little bit. He's going to tuck in fourth for the moment. But Martin Nixon and Rogel, they're going to make it 3 wide as Zachary Fitzwater is going to steal the race lead away from Zachary Taylor. And Rogel, 3 wide for fourth. Nixon is going to shoot out of that battle, just like the hot dog flying out of the bun. And now here comes Zachary Taylor to the inside to take the race lead back. It's a fight amongst Ford Mustangs, 1, 2, and 3 up at the front of the field as they race back into 1. As they race very hard for this top position, let's go ahead and take a look and see where our points leader, Terry Walker, is running, as you see him right about mid-pack. Currently up in that 21st position. So far, things are looking pretty good here for the 48 of Terry Walker. But if you're also wondering where in the world the 69 of Russell Blaze is running, well, not faring all that well either. Not as well as what Terry Walker is. Currently scored in the 41st position, but already is starting to pick his way back up through the field as he now moves his way up to the 39th position. And is going to gain even more spots here as this race goes on, as we're now coming up to 20 laps complete. Rogel has the top position, 3 wide once again, as Kyle Craven has now entered the mix. Where in the world did Kyle Craven come from? Comes out of absolutely nowhere, and now he's in the mix. He's up to third, trying to get third away actually from Chase McClure, but heading into the third corner, the bottom line is going to be the way to go. And here comes Kyle Craven's teammate Campbell Marsh in the 38 to make something happen, as now he's going to go 3 wide for the lead. Such spectacular racing that we're seeing here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. I cannot express it enough. I can't even say it enough. How about Wyatt Walker in this 19? Fighting it out with CG Holt. As Walker moves up inside of the top 10. Terry Walker, you saw him in the background, that purple Ally machine. Also slowly starting to make his way up through the field. He's picked up a couple positions. He's moved up to 15th. Taylor back down on the inside of Wyatt Walker. Now going to try to go for the 5th position on Zachary Fitzwater. Oh, look at that. Campbell Marsh got a little bit low down there on the inside line. Probably got down on that yellow line. And that's what kind of caused all his momentum to just rupture up until this point, because look at the launch that he got through 3 and 4. He's going to go 3 wide. He's going to be in the middle of a 3 wide fight here for second as they head into turn 1. And Kyle Craven emerges out of all of that with the race lead. And how about this for American Motorsports? Currently 1-2 right now. And they're going to fight it out for this top spot. Not really much of a fight, as that bottom line, that middle groove through 3 and 4 is the preferred way to go now, as Campbell Marsh is going to take the lead away here on lap 26 of 200. How about Caleb Rose here in this number 59 machine? Rose now starting to move his way inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight. Here early in the going of the M&M's 400 here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. We were 4 wide for a split second. Look at Stephen Colon almost putting his left sides on the grass there, and that's not going to do him any sort of favors. And look at him just lose all these positions as they go around him on the outside. Now he's going to have the momentum as he uses that bottom lane to his advantage. He gets that fire off going through 3 and 4 and uses that momentum all the way down the quad oval, down the front stretch, back into turn 1. He's just outside of the top 10 currently. As you see Rogel Dorn now start to take the lead away. Well, he's already taken the race lead away, trying to go back-to-back here in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series, trying to do something that Nia Steidl did earlier in the season. Steidl trying to look for her 3rd win of the season, and you want to know where she's at? Well, here she is, just outside of the top 10, currently running in the 15th position. Doing the same thing that all these other drivers are doing right now, and that's picking off all these other cars 1 by 1, maybe 2 by 2, maybe 3 by 3, as they're, speaking of, 3 wide here, 2 rows deep. Look at Ryan Little, now going to try to make it 4 wide going through turn 1. That's not going to work as everybody starts to spread out going into the first corner. Back into 3. Little with the preferred line and with the advantage as Zachary Taylor's going to take the race lead back away from Rogel Dorn, heading back into turn 1 and now back into turn 2. Look at the 23 of Valkyrie Atikian defend her position as now she moves up, retains the 3rd spot. And now we might go 3 wide for the 4th position. And indeed we will. Here comes Stephen Colon in the 25 underneath of Eric Monaco and the 59 of Caleb Rose. As up front, challenge for the lead is on. Rogel Dorn back downstairs on Zachary Taylor, and easily is going to take that race lead back. A little bit of contact here between Campbell Marsh and Jerry Rose. They're still banging doors down the front straightaway. And Wyatt Walker is going to get by all of that. But let's see, I'm pretty sure at this rate he's already gotten back into the top 10 because of it. And now heading back through turn number 4, back down the front straightaway. Wyatt Walker looks like, yeah, he currently is shown in the 8th position. Here on lap number 34. About 16 laps away this time by from the 1/4 mark of the M&M's 400 from here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Look at this battle right over here. 4 wide going through turn 1. McClure gets down on the grass, puts his left sides down on the grass. Now this racetrack, as you can see, especially going through the corners, is plenty wide for 4 abreast action. It's the quad oval, it's the quad oval that is kind of the issue of 4 wide racing, because usually these drivers, they don't, especially with the headrests around them, they usually don't have the best vision of what's going on to their left or to their right because of the headrests that kind of block that vision. So they're obviously having to rely on their spotters for that second-hand information. Look at this action right over here. Nia Steidl almost squeezed Terry Walker right into Zachary Fitzwater. That could have caused a mess. But Steidl looking to go for win number 3 on the season. Her teammate Emily Anderson looking to do the same thing. They're the only 2 EGI cars that have gone to victory lane this year more than one time. Ryan Durrani Racing obviously has also done the same thing, but with all 3 of their cars. I mean, well, obviously, 1 win apiece for all 3 cars, that is, but nonetheless, I mean, obviously, if you are Ryan Durrani, you would really love to see your cars win more than once, and right now, Rogel Dorn is a man on a mission looking to try to deliver on the call. Right now running inside of the top 5 as we're coming around to complete lap 39 of the scheduled 200 laps to be run here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Look at Nia Steidl taking it downstairs 3 wide. Had the spot for the moment, but now she's going to slip back just a little bit, as that bottom groove usually is not the preferred way to go. It's the middle line, and now the bottom is going to start to come into effect here. As Steidl takes it right back downstairs and is going to grab another spot across the stripe, edging out Stephen Cologne for third. Slowly but surely, methodically picking her way through the field, one car at a time. She's cleared Cologne. Now it's Zachary Taylor's turn, as Chase McClure follows on the tire tracks and is going to take it downstairs 3 wide now for the second position. And oh boy, that didn't quite work out there for McClure, because now Steidl had the preferred line and now moved Nia Steidl up into the second position. And now here she goes. Maybe going to try to take it downstairs on the 00 of Jerry Rose here as they come off of turn number 4. And so far, not quite the case. If Steidl is not careful, that could allow for Chase McClure to take it to the inside. That's not quite the case, as Steidl makes the run to the inside, is going to easily make that pass for the lead, but Chase McClure right back downstairs to try to steal it away. And he's going to be very successful at doing just that as they head back into turn number 1. How about Abby Walker in this 18, moving her way up inside of the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Just about 1/4 of the way through the M&M's 400. We're almost to that point, 6 laps away. And we have had a pretty spectacular night of racing here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. Steidl looking to try to get this race lead away from the 52 of Chase McClure. Abby Walker looking to play spoiler in this little party, but oh, Zachary Taylor is going to play spoiler to that spoiler. But not going to have the grip there going through 1 and 2, but is just going to have just enough to get a good run on corner exit to stay with Jerry Rose. Meanwhile, there goes Steidl underneath of Chase McClure for the race lead, but here comes Zachary Taylor down to the inside. He's going to steal it back from Steidl. They're 3 wide just up here, with Alexander Rowe now starting to show his face inside of the top 5 for the first time tonight. You also got Aaron Abel, who came into this race dead last in the point standings. A great run tonight would definitely change the trajectory of the rest of his season if he's able to pull this off. Some spectacular racing that we're seeing here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park, and here we go. Oh no! McClure gets turned by Caleb Rose in front of the field. More cars getting collected. Nathan Stapleton, Ray Atikian, Joshua Cornish, Wayne Lopez. There's Bruno Diacomo's machine with a small buckle on the hood. Caution is out for the first time tonight. I believe that had to do with pit stops that were coming up, and that's Russell Blaze in the 69. Heavy damage to the nose of the Dead by Daylight Ford Mustang. And this is not what either Ryan Durrani, not even Russell Blaze, the driver, wanted to see. This is this, as a team owner, this has to be Ryan Durrani's worst nightmare, and Russell Blaze is done for the night. So that points gap between himself and Terry Walker, man, Terry, you can breathe another sigh of relief for this week. Because that points gap after tonight, very high chance that's going to grow, unless if there's another driver out there that's third or below that could have themselves a very good run to keep Terry Walker on his toes. But man, oh man, what in the world did we just witness? Nonetheless, first caution of the night is out here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. It's Abby Walker who leads the charge here as we're past the 1/4 mark of this race here in the M&M's 400, as she is currently driving the M&M's Toyota Camry. But let's go back and review that crash that could have, would have, and should have began. That obviously pit stops were getting ready to start. But let's take a look at what happened that set that whole thing off. It obviously was Chase McClure who was slowing down through turns 3 and 4 to try to get down into the pits. However, this is exactly what happened. You see McClure, he's slowing down, he's trying to get to the inside. Actually, I wonder, I don't think pit stops are actually getting ready to happen. I think he just had some sort of issue and he slowed down. He was trying to get back down into the apron, and that just wasn't going to happen. See Caleb Rose get collected. Cornish, Andrew Miller even piles in. Almost sends the 59 of Caleb Rose over, and there is where Russell Blaze got his damage, plowing right into the 89 of Cornish. Here's Bruno Diacomo going for a little spin into the outside wall in turn number 4. Tanner Parton squeezing by. There's Noah Clifton refiring his car and taking off. Ray Atikian, and obviously Cornish, who had a lot of high hopes coming into this one after starting on the pole. That second career victory for the Pepsi Cup Series will have to wait for Joshua Cornish. He's come close on many different occasions this year. Almost won at Martinsville earlier this year before Nia Seidel went on to take that win. I mean, there's a lot of other places where not Seidel, but McClure could go out and win, but unfortunately tonight is not one of them because of this mess right here at the 1/4 mark of the M&M's 400 here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. And you also have to feel for Nathan Stapleton as well. Stapleton was another driver whom I felt was going to have himself a great night tonight. That's just not going to happen. His woes are continuing here, especially in the later stages of this 2025 season. And that's just, man, it's just tough to watch Stapleton just absolutely struggle throughout the year. But speaking of struggle, let's go ahead and look at that crash one more time, but this time following along with the 69 of Russell Blaze. But we're actually going to do something a little bit different and kind of just follow along from his onboard camera, but in slow-mo. So that trouble happens, everybody's starting to check up, and he does the same thing as well. But now we're going to switch to the cockpit view. He stayed committed to the bottom, but then obviously because of Cornish just winding up getting sideways when he got stuck between the apron and the banking, that's what sent the car around. And that unfortunately is what didn't allow Russell Blaze any sort of breathing room whatsoever to make it through this crash and live to fight another day. And Russell Blaze is not going to be a happy camper when this is all said and done. And once those point standings come out, he is not going to be a happy camper whatsoever. So focusing in on the top 10 as we get ready for one to go. And I actually do believe that Abby Walker and maybe Zachary Taylor, Jerry Rose, Kyle Craven, and Ajax Fitzgerald, they're going to come on down pit road. Looks like to get their service done. So that is going to give the race lead over to the 6 of Nia Seidel as we are now just past the 1/4 mark of this race, and we are getting ready for 1 to go. So we are going back to racing next time by. So your top 10 is going to look like this as we get ready to go back under the green flag. That is Nia Steidl, who is the race leader. Alexander Rowe in second. Aaron Abel is third. Terry Walker, man, he's got to be feeling pretty good about himself right now. He's sitting in the 4th position. Zachary Fitzwater 5th. Claire Phillips in 6th. Emily Anderson in 7th. Valkyrie Atiki in 8th. Zachary Taylor in 9th. And CG Holt rounds out your top 10. Rogel Dorn, one of those drivers that I do believe I think he is definitely the only driver that is 1 lap down right now. So that indeed is the case. So he's going to have a chance to try to get his lap back and get back on the lead lap. And there you see the retirees, Russell Blaze, Joshua Cornish, CG Holt, and Nathan Stapleton. Those drivers, their nights are officially over early. Back to racing here in Minnesota. And Steidl gets a really good jump on the rest of the field as they head back into turn number 1. Really great jump on Alexander Rowe. And Rowe did not get off to a good start whatsoever. I don't think he was ready because Aaron Abel is on the attack and back down to the inside of the 34. And here comes Aaron Abel to the inside of the number 6 of Steidl. And Terry Walker's looking to try to make it 3 abreast heading into turn number 1. Taking it a little bit wide there. Every driver was going pretty wide there, going through 1 and 2. Through 3 and 4, a little bit of a similar scenario here. Aaron Abel's going to lead that lap. And Terry Walker, all he has to do is get a very strong finish in order to increase that points gap between himself and Russell Blaze. That opened the floodgates completely wide in order for that to happen. I mean, obviously he's got another 145 laps to do it, so it's still a long way to go before anything of that magnitude winds up taking place. Abby Walker making her way back out on the racetrack, so she's going to be a couple laps down, unfortunately. So something unfortunately went awry on the 18 of Abby Walker, as Terry Walker, is going to take that race lead away. CG Holt on the attack down on the inside. And how about Quentin Moore in this 04 machine? Right here inside of the top 5. First time tonight in the Mobil 1 colors. Now going for 3rd. Now going to try to go for 2nd. Maybe try to go for the race lead. What in the world was that momentum? Almost dead even there with Terry Walker as they head through turn number 2. Pulls up alongside. Side by side for the lead. Advantage, give it to Quentin Moore as they come through turn number 4. And Quentin Moore is going to lead this lap here in Minnesota. You got Claire Phillips in the 5 down there on the inside as well. Looking to try to get that 3rd position away from the 43 of Aaron Abel. You got Emily Anderson up in the mix as well. And how about Andrew Ramsey in the 67? Looking to try to make it 3 abreast underneath of Abel and Anderson, but so far was only able to make the pass on Anderson for at least the moment, but just not the case really all that much anymore. As Ramsey's going to start to slide back a little bit and now start to propel his way forward as a little bit further in the back. A little bit of 3 wide action going on over here. Back down into turn 1 and up at the front of the field. Challenge for the lead is on as Claire Phillips takes it downstairs on Quentin Moore and is going to take that lead away heading through turn 3, but not so fast. Here comes Emily Anderson on the attack down on the inside and is going to take that lead away from Claire Phillips in the 5. Andrew Ramsey coming out of the woodworks and has already moved up into the 2nd position. Moves up a lane to get up in front of the 5 of Phillips. And I think that 67 is brewing up a pass for the lead, and here he comes. There's Andrew Ramsey Down to the inside, gonna take it downstairs, going into turn 3 this time by, and new race leader, it's Andrew Ramsey in the 67. Now Ramsey's another driver that is looking for his first win on the season, not of his career, because remember, he won at Pocono in 2020 as a part-time driver, managed to take it away from Betty Johnson coming to the white flag. And he went on to win that race from Betty Johnson. That was when Daniel Voiles Racing was here at the time. And now here we are in 2025, and Ramsey still trying to go for his second Pepsi Cup Series win of his career, and Rogel Dorn trying to do the same thing, but is also trying to go back-to-back as he takes the lead away from Ramsey. Ryan Little coming back into the mix as he works his way down to the inside of the 34 of Alexander Rowe, bringing Valkyrie Atikian with him. A little bit of 3 abreast action right over here. There's Terry Walker underneath of Phillips. That's the run for the 7th position. And Walker trying to make a run for 6 as they head down into turn 1. Definitely holding his own there on the bottom. Gets by Anderson, trying to get by Alexander Rowe. A little bit of straightaway speed, paying off for Rowe, but now turns 3 and 4. Look at that run that Terry Walker was able to get. 3 wide for second as Ryan Little is trying to run away with it. Atikian breaks out from that gap, from that little fight right there, to emerge in that second position. A little bit of 3 wide action here for third as Walker finds himself in the middle. Phillips on the bottom, Dorn up top. They're still going at it hard for that 3rd position. As meanwhile, challenge for the lead is on. Valkyrie Atikian down to the inside of Ryan Little and is already going to move it up to 1st place for Trinity River Racing. Oh, a little bit of door banging right over here between Phillips and Little. Almost going 4 wide heading into turn number 1. But thankfully, Abby Walker got out of that mess. Remember, Abby Walker right now is 2 laps down. She's racing to try to get one of her laps back. She's trying to get both of her laps back, so if she's able to pass the leader twice and have a caution come out, she will be back on the lead lap. That is only if that happens twice. Lead change. Emily Anderson taking it away from Valkyrie Atikian, and Abby Walker looking to play spoiler in this little party right over here. In her little quest to try to get back on the lead lap. Look at Quentin Moore putting his left sides on the grass, and now he's going to start to lose a lot of momentum as they head down the back straightaway. How about our Michigan winner Roberto Crown Jr. in the 21. Moving up into the 9th position is Aaron Abel, who takes the race lead away from Emily Anderson. You saw that at the bottom of your screen. And bringing with it, and coming with Roberto Crown Jr., I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, is Braden Perez in the 88. Best career finish of his WRLA Pepsi Cup Series career to date as of right now is a runner-up finish. Managed to get a runner-up finish from the 69 of Russell Blaze at the Nashville Super Speedway. But Perez looking to try to do one position better and go to victory lane here in tonight's race in Minnesota. CG Halt now with the race lead. Looks like he's gonna... Now this would be a great teammate, if you will, as Abby Walker is gonna get right on by CG Halt to get one of her laps back, but Aaron Abel is already pouncing down to the inside to take the lead away from Abby Walker's teammate, CG Halt. 3 wide over here. As all these drivers going high, low, in the middle of the track. One car they're catching up to, that is the 20 of Jordan Sumner, who is, I'd say, pretty decently off the pace right now, but I don't think she'll be much of a factor maybe until, give it about 2, 3, 4 laps time. Bare minimum 3. Apologies, had to take a little swig of Pepsi. And yes, the primary sponsor, the title sponsor of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. Abby Walker trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. And that right there, with Jordan Sumner being in the lane, in the way, if you will, is exactly what Abby Walker needed to get one of her laps back. As now Jordan Sumner goes a lap down, that allows Braden Perez to take the lead away from the 43 of Aaron Abel. Meanwhile, back down to the inside. Look at that. Look at this view right over here. That is, you get a good look at that inside line, just absolutely getting a perfect launch going through the corners, going through 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2. Doesn't really pair all that well. 4 wide action over here. That's Nia Steidel on that blue and red machine, that mostly blue number 6. Getting out of that little fiasco there. Oh man, great heads-up driving by Rogel Dorn and trying to lay off the left rear quarter panel of Steidel's car, as she's trying to fend off Zachary Fitzwater, who's down on the inside. And with one Zachary brings another Zachary. That's Zachary Taylor in the 85 down there on the inside, that Indianapolis Colts machine. Already moving his way inside of the top 10. Emily Anderson now trying to claw her way back inside of the top 10, trying to go for win number 3 on the Pepsi Cup Series calendar for 2025. The all-time winningest driver in WRLA history, looking to try to add on to that resume with her 5th career win in the Pepsi Cup Series. As meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Kyle Craven is back up front, but Braden Perez already on the attack to get to the inside and is going to steal the lead back across the stripe, heading back into turn 1. Perez clear of all challengers, but not for much longer. CG Hall with a great run through turns 3 and 4. Already pulling up alongside the 88 of Perez to try to fight for this race lead as they go down the back straightaway, this time back into turn 3. And a great textbook pass right there for the 17 of CG Hall, trying to get his 2nd career Pepsi Cup Series win, his 1st on the season. And this is the run that CG Hall needs if he wants to catapult himself further up in the point standings, hoping and praying that he can get at least inside of the top 30 by the time that this race is all said and done. But it's going to be a tough road as we're closing in on the halfway mark of the M&M's 400. 3 wide. What was for the lead, now for 2nd, but Anderson starting to fade back on the bottom. Zachary Fitzwater in that 98 looking to try to make something happen. Fitzwater also trying to search for his 1st Pepsi Cup Series win. Who would have thought it, that he's been around in the series since 2017. Now trying to go for more here as he's on the bottom side. Barely making it work, and making it work just enough to where he's able to hang on. But now with that great momentum going through turns 3 and 4, he's able to pull up to the 4th position. Now 3rd. Now going to try to go for 2nd here on the 43 of Aaron Abel as they head back into turn number 1. Anderson grabs the lead back in the process. And look at this. Sebastian Vaughn in the number 54. Moving his way inside of the top 10 for the first time tonight. Vaughn is another driver whom I'm really hoping has a great night tonight. Currently 33rd in the point standings. A great run tonight or even a win would change all of that. And the thing for Sebastian Vaughn is that, sure, he may have not had the best of races, but there have been weeks where we've seen this number 54 bring an absolute beast of a car to the table that's good enough to go for maybe top 5s and top 10s, sometimes even wins. But often, more often than not, the results tell a whole different story. They don't even compare to the results that would have been for this number 54 team of Vaughn. Moonstar Enterprises, of course, not having themselves the best of years this year, obviously with Sebastian Vaughn's full-time effort and the part-time effort for the 20 of Jordan Sumner. Sumner hasn't really made a whole lot of races this year, but tonight was thankfully one of them, and we're really glad to see Jordan Sumner in this race here tonight. Kyle Craven has the lead, but Ryan Little looking to try to take it downstairs, and he's got to do it quick before Zachary Taylor makes the decision or makes that run. He's a little late, and here comes Wyatt Walker in the process, 3 wide for second. And Walker trying to go for that race lead, but again, that bottom line definitely proven to be an Achilles heel. I also kind of feel like as this race goes on, that bottom groove is getting just stronger lap after lap after lap with all that rubber that's getting put down there on the inside. So some more grip is being made there. 3 wide, and Wyatt is just barely going to lead that lap over Kyle Craven. Coming off a 2 and down the back straightaway, 3 wide for the race lead once again. Not really all that much anymore, but how about this? Look at this action over here. 4 wide for a split second, while Wyatt Walker starts to run away with the race lead. How about Reagan Whitlock in the 9 coming out of the woodworks? Another veteran to the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. She's been around since 2017, so she definitely knows a thing or two about racing with the big boys. Whitlock down on the inside, trying to steal this lead away from Wyatt Walker, and is going to do it coming off of turn number 2. Whitlock also still trying to search for her first Pepsi Cup Series win. Not just since 2017, since the inaugural season, but since coming back in 2023. Absolutely racing like there's nothing to lose here for Reagan Whitlock here in this number 9. CG Holt down on the inside, and he's going to bring Emily Anderson with him. Craven on the attack on Sebastian Vaughn. Here comes Stephen Colon, and Braden Perez looking to try to make it 3 wide heading into the first corner, as we are just shy of halfway through the M&M's 400 here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. And wait a minute, a little bit further in the back, pit stops are getting ready to take place. And a little bit of a cleaner start to pit stops as, oh, by the way, there's the 45 of Ray Atiki, and he's been in the pits for a little bit, getting his service wrapped up. Noah Clifton coming on in along with Terry Walker, who's getting his service done. There's Tanner Parton making his stop. Emily Anderson peeling off and coming to pit road. Bringing Braden Perez, Aaron Abel, Phillips, Marsh, Ramsey, Skylar Taylor, and a lot of others in this group on the pit road. Wayne Lopez, I believe, was another driver that already made his stop. Oh, careful. That could have been really bad. That was a very close call between Wyatt Walker and Wayne Lopez right there. What a gutsy move, by the way. Oh, no! Little bit of contact between himself and Andrew Miller. That was just trying to get into the pit stall. That's going to hurt Wyatt just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It obviously won't be enough to take him out of the race. It's just going to hurt the momentum just a little bit on this 19 team. But a great but gutsy move there by the 19 of Wyatt Walker to just cut down in front of Wayne Lopez just to get from the middle of the racetrack all the way to the bottom to try to get into his pit stop, try to get on the pit road. I'd say that is a very impressive job by both of those guys not to wreck coming into the pits. Especially if you're Wyatt Walker, who's trying to get on the pit road to make your stop. As we're just past the halfway mark here in the M&M's 400 here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. In case you folks are just tuning in, we've only had one caution flag throughout the night. That came at lap 50 with Chase McClure getting turned around, going into turn number 3, and it collected a few other cars, one of which being the 69 of Russell Blaze. For those that may be wondering why we bring up Blaze, he was in the running for the championship, of course, still in the running as of right now. The points, of course, are not yet rewarded, so we don't know what the gap between himself and Terry Walker, who is the points leader, is going to look like after tonight. But coming into this race, they both were separated by 4 points. After tonight, that is 100% changing if Terry Walker is able to secure a very good run. And so far, it looks like he's doing it, at least for the moment. So your top 10, as of right now, goes as follows. Emily Anderson being scored as the leader. Campbell Marsh actually is going to slide to the inside and take the race lead away. So it will be Campbell Marsh who is the race leader. Emily Anderson now in second. Aaron Abel third. Braden Perez in fourth. Then Zachary Fitzwater completes her top 5, followed by C.G. Holt in 6th. Then in 7th, Reagan Whitlock, Terry Walker 8th, Ryan Little 9th, and Wyatt Walker. Oh, by the way, Wyatt Walker, who had a little bit of contact with Andrew Miller just a few minutes ago, he completes your top 10 as of right now. So again, that momentum just got hurt a little bit. Not a lot. It didn't take him out of contention, thank goodness for that. But it just slowed him down a little bit, but not enough to keep him down. Walker takes over second, now trying to go for 8th on his teammate of CG Hall. What a good night, actually, for Walker Family Motorsports here. Terry Walker, the points leader, of course, right now running in 7th. CG Holt and Wyatt Walker, both of these drivers really wanting some great runs here tonight for both of themselves individually to try to improve their spots and points. Wyatt still trying to go for his first Pepsi Cup Series win along with Terry Walker. Both of those drivers have yet to go to victory lane in WRLA competition. But CG Holt's already won a race. That was back in 2023. And Abby Walker won earlier this year, but Abby right now currently is 2 laps down. Unfortunately, had a little bit of an issue on pit road, or at least when the cars came by to take one to go, just shy of this last restart. She sat on pit road for a couple of laps and then came back out a couple laps, at least a lap or 2 off the pace. Reagan Whitlock taking it downstairs on Emily Anderson and will steal this race lead away here on lap 112. We now have 88 laps to go here in the M&M's 400 here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. How about Aaron Abel, Campbell Marsh down to the inside to take first and second away. Wyatt Walker taking it downstairs on Reagan Whitlock for third. Now trying to go for second. Unfortunately, not able to make that bottom stick. Heading through turns 1 and 2, but definitely will going through 3 and 4. And he's going to bring Ryan Little with him. So move the 19 of Wyatt Walker up to 3rd officially. Clear of all traffic as Campbell Marsh is going to make a challenge for the top spot. Wyatt Walker going to take it downstairs and make it 3 wide going through turn number 3. And that's going to work absolute wonders for him. And now he's going to find himself in the race lead here on lap 115 with 115 laps complete. Walker doing everything he possibly can to make sure that first Pepsi Cup Series win is within arm's reach. But in order to, you know, at the very least, make sure that it's still possible, he's got to run the way that he is. He's got to make sure that this run goes the way that it's going right now for the next 83 laps coming up. Ryan Little now down to the inside to try to wrestle this race lead away. But Ryan Little's got the preferred line going through turns 1 and 2 to keep it dead even. Down the back straightaway into the 3rd corner. Little's going to clear Walker for the top position. And now for 2nd. As the 88 of Braden Perez goes on by. They're also catching up to the 99 of Noah Clifton. And while all that's going on, they're fighting pretty hard for this top position amongst these 3 cars. Look at the 98 of Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzy almost slid in front of the 38 of Campbell Marsh, almost putting him into the outside wall. That would have been absolutely catastrophic if that wound up happening. It would have been catastrophic if that wound up happening. Back down into turn 3. Perez with the top position. Here comes both Walker and Whitlock to make it 3 wide for this top position. Not the most... wait, hold on. They actually kind of settled it down a little bit just in time to catch Noah Clifton in the 99. Where exactly will Walker go to get around Noah Clifton? He's going to take the lower line underneath of Clifton. And now Noah Clifton is going to go 1 lap down in the 99 machine. Meanwhile, Reagan Whitlock down to the inside of Wyatt Walker. And while all that's happening, 3 wide over here, this is all trying to get by Clifton. Steidel was in the middle of that fiasco, and Terry Walker was on the bottom. Whitlock's going to take the lead away from Wyatt Walker. Ryan Little now down to the inside to take over that 2nd position. And how about this action over here? Marsh trying to get another piece of Braden Perez as he's trying to knock his way inside of the top 5, but not so fast. There's Terry Walker in the 48. Great run going through 1 and 2 from the outside line. But that inside groove definitely proving to be quite literally the strongest line on the racetrack, as Campbell Marsh is able to fend off the challenge of Terry Walker. Walker goes really wide through the corner, and that's what's going to allow him. That's unfortunately, that's what's going to cost him a couple of positions here coming through turns 3 and 4. Almost gets into the outside wall as he starts to fade back in the 48 machine. Zachary Fitzwater getting by the 19 of Wyatt Walker. And how about Sebastian Vaughn in this 54? Eking it low on the 19 of Walker, coming down the front straightaway. Steidel leads the charge, heading back into the 1st corner. And oh boy, oh boy. This action is getting rather intense here as we're closing in on the 50 to go mark. 4 wide coming through turn 4. Stephen Cologne gonna make that work. Heading through turn 1, the biggest loser in that fight, that was CG Halt as he had to back way off going through turn 1. Meanwhile, up front at the front of the field, Campbell Marsh takes the top position away from Braden Perez, heading back into turn number 1. You got Nia Seidel, even Sebastian Vaughn waiting in the wings in 3rd and 4th. But Steidel wasting no time. And Sebastian Vaughn, a little bit more in a desperate situation. Going to take it downstairs, 3 wide. And Vaughn's going to take the race lead away, heading back into turn 1. Boy, oh boy. The plot to this race has thickened yet again. Oh boy, a little bit of contact between Perez and Campbell Marsh. That would have been terrible to see how that wreck would have unfolded. But Vaughn now clear of all challengers for these next couple of seconds as he pulls away from Seidel just a little bit. But Seidel now in trouble. 3 wide here for second as Stephen Cologne is going to win that fight across the stripe, heading back down into the first corner. Trying to officially clear the rest of the pack here for second, and he's got it for now. CG Halt is going to be on the attack, on the offense, down through turn number 4. And he's going to try to pull right up alongside Sebastian Vaughn to try to take this race lead, going through turn 1. Halt taking a bit of a lower line, but so far it's kind of paying dividends, if you will. He's going to stay alongside the 25 of Stephen Cologne, and is going to pull up alongside the 54 of Sebastian Vaughn. Dead heat across the stripe, given to Sebastian Vaughn for lap 133. Terry Walker took it down to the grass, if you will, and now all that momentum's going to be lost here, at least temporarily. He'll get that momentum back here going through 3 and 4, as did the 88 of Braden Perez, as he's going to take 3rd away from Emily Anderson. 3 wide once again. Emily Anderson now finding herself on the extreme top side. Terry Walker trying to make the move for 5th. As he's clear of all challenges, at least for the moment, now becoming the challenger on another challenge E. And speaking of challenges, here's Sebastian Vaughn trying to take it away. Well, he's already done it. He's already taken it away from the 17 of CG Halt. A little bit of 4 wide action going on over here. Wyatt Walker puts his left sides down on the grass. But that momentum, although it's hurt, it's going to recover here fairly quickly. Mentioned it before a couple laps ago with Terry Walker. Look where he's at right now. Currently just outside of the top 5. Now closing in on the 60 to go mark. We currently are at 63 laps remaining, coming to 62 this time by. I'm also noticing some of these drivers are also taking a little bit of higher lines as these green flag runs do go on. Especially going through 3 and 4. You notice Terry was almost up against the wall there. So pit stops, of course, are just about 10, I would say definitely 10-ish laps away from happening. So be sure to stand by for what may potentially be our final stop of the night. As things are definitely going to get very, very interesting to see how the finish of this M&M's 400 is going to play out. Andrew Ramsey shooting right by Zachary Fitzwater to take over the top position, and doing so by almost a third of a second between himself and the 98 of Fitzy, who is being contested for second by CG Halt. And right behind him is, well, his teammate and boss, Wyatt Walker, who also wants his first Pepsi Cup Series win, not just of the season, but more importantly of his career. And he's going to do whatever it takes to get to that point. Tonight could be the night we see Wyatt Walker go to victory lane in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. Gets out ahead of Ramsey, but not so fast. Here comes Nia Steidel down to the inside. We mentioned it earlier, Nia Steidel looking for win number 3 on her career and of the season. She's looking very sporty, especially as we get later into the going of this M&M's 400. Another car we're coming up to. Again, we're coming up to Jordan Sumner once again. You also have Ray Atikian and a few others that were involved in that lap 49 crash that unfortunately took out Russell Blaze, our runner-up in the point standings. Rose, Parton, Diacomo, they're all back here, along with Andrew Miller, Wayne Lopez, Eric Monaco, Bonsignor, and quite a few others that are sort of straggling at the back half of the field, and teammates fighting it out for the race lead, both of which try to go for their 3rd wins of the season. And Emily Anderson has the advantage. 3 wide now for 2nd. As they close in on Jordan Sumner to put her yet another lap down. So she'll be going 3 laps down once Anderson finds a way around her. Oh, but hold the phone, not so fast. Here comes Braden Perez. Oh, very close right there. Almost came down in front of the nose of Kyle Craven, who's also going to take it downstairs to make it 3 wide. And Craven almost gets down into the grass. That's going to cause him to lose all of that momentum. And he's going to go from 3rd from what looks like probably about 7th or 8th. Or actually 5th. As pit stops are beginning with some of the slower cars, the lap cars that is, they're all coming down pit road here on lap 148. So our final round of green flag pit stops is getting ready to start. The question is, who are going to be some of the first takers on this round of green flag pit stops? Lopez getting service done to his race machine. He'll be down and away here very shortly. Abel with the top spot. And Terry Walker is going to make his way down into the pits. And bringing him, coming with him is Ryan Little, Zachary Fitzwater, and Val Moscow, our runner-up from Indianapolis. He's in this little group. In the next batch, well, it looks like we're going to have Emily Anderson, Reagan Whitlock, Campbell Marsh. So strategies are looking a little bit more. Wait, crash in the back. That's Valkyrie Atikian who's gone around. No caution. Surprisingly enough, we stay green. She was on the racing surface, but I'm pretty sure there was nobody else around her when she wound up spinning out in turn number 4. In my honest opinion, that should have been a caution. But WRLA officials decided to keep it green, as it really wasn't going to be much of a danger on the racetrack. She was able to get it fired up and get it back rolling into the pits. As more cars come on down pit road. Aaron Abel is going to surrender the lead and make his way down pit road for his final stop of the night. What could be his final stop of the night. You also have Stephen Colon, Martin Nixon, Rogaldorn, Ajax Fitzgerald. They're all in as well. what looks like what more than likely is going to be our final round of green flag stops if this goes green the rest of the way. Your top 10 is probably going to look like this as they wrap up green flag pit stops and all these other drivers are cycling their way back out on the racetrack. Up front, this more than likely may be the fight for the lead and possibly the win, but it's too early in this green flag run to really say much because all these other drivers from third on back could pull up and make something happen. So your top 10 looks like this. Coming to complete lap 154, it is Terry Walker, our points leader, currently leading the charge. Here in the M&M's 400, Nia Seidel right there in second. Kyle Craven third. Campbell Marsh fourth, Emily Anderson rounds out your top 5. Then Zachary Fitzwater in 6th. Ryan Little in 7th. Then running in 8th is Andrew Ramsey. 9th is Reagan Whitlock in car number 9. And her teammate, Braden Perez, rounds out your top 10. Steidel managed to grab the lead away from Terry Walker. Not Abby Walker, but Terry Walker. Coming off of 4. And as we were also running through the top 10 running order, Campbell Marsh was able to get by his teammate of Kyle Craven to secure the 3rd position. Emily Anderson now moves her way up into the 4th spot. And Zachary Fitzwater trying to knock on the door of the top 5 yet again. Meanwhile, up front, challenge for the lead is on yet again. Here comes Terry Walker, trying to nab his first Pepsi Cup Series win of the season. Pretty crazy of how he's the points leader and is yet to score a win this year. But he got there based off of consistency alone, and that's why he's been able to hold on to the points lead for so long, for as long as he has, actually. It's the same reason why Zachary Fitzwater was able to hold on to the points lead for as long as he was able to. Based off of consistency alone, still has yet to score a win this year. He's trying to hold off 2 drivers that are multi-time winners this year. Nia Steidel, Emily Anderson, both trying to go for win number 3 of the season and or of their careers. That's the case for Nia Steidel. So far, it is an EGI 1-2 kind of night. Currently, as of right now, as we've now reached 40 laps to go here in the M&M's 400. Look at Val Moscow trying to get to the inside of Reagan Whitlock. What a great run for Val Moscow, especially later in the going of this one. Now he starts to move up inside of the top 10, has already taken 9th, now trying to set his sights on the 67 of Andrew Ramsey for the 8th position. We take a look further in the back. There's Wyatt Walker in the 19. Finds himself in the 13th position. Not exactly where he wants to be right now, but who knows? A caution could change things. Either that, or more importantly, he could still pick his way through the field to get himself back into contention to win this race. He's got a good car. And we could have ourselves a green run all the way to the finish just to see what kind of car Wyatt Walker has. Campbell Marsh was able to take the race lead away from the 48 of Terry Walker and as well as the 6 of Nia Steidel, who were fighting really hard for that top position. 3 wide now for 3rd as Fitzy gonna take it downstairs and successfully get by both of the EGI cars and move up to 3rd and use that momentum to try to pull up alongside of Terry Walker for the 2nd position as they head into turn 1. Oh, but Terry looking to try to steal the race lead back from Campbell Marsh heading back into turn 3. And with 35 laps to go, Terry Walker is running the race of his life right now, because he currently is trying to increase his points gap between himself and Russell Blaze. Blaze, of course, out of the race. Terry still running right now and is having the run of his career. Trying to search for his first Pepsi Cup Series win of his career, and could very well do it. He's got the car to hang with all the big boys right now, so running top 5 currently. Emily Anderson. This is actually kind of great to see here, because there are drivers that have been pretty successful this year that have yet to score a win, like Terry Walker, Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Craven, Campbell Marsh, even Ryan Little. All of these drivers, with the exception of both of the EGI cars of Emily Anderson and Nia Steidel, have all yet to score a win. However, Emily Anderson and Nia Steidel, both of them, as I've mentioned, have 2 wins for themselves. Steidel ended up winning at Martinsville and at Nazareth, both back-to-back races. And Emily Anderson won at North Wilkesboro and Indianapolis. Anderson trying to bring one home for the Haas Automation colors, as all of her wins, from especially dating back to Texas in 2017, have all been Mountain Dew colors. So Anderson trying to bring home a victory for Haas Automation. 30 to go. Terry still running the race of his life right now, running the race of his WRLA Pepsi Cup career, as he's trying to get his first Pepsi Cup Series win and try to do it while holding on to the points lead. We've yet to have a winner. We've yet to have a driver who has a win take the points lead away, or at least a driver that's in the points lead grab a win. We've yet to see it this year. But tonight could very well be the night that Terry Walker might be able to pull it off. But he's also got to fend off every challenge that Nia Steidel, Emily Anderson, Fitzy, Marsh, and even Kyle Craven are just throwing at him right now. It's the lone Walker Family Motorsports car going up against the lone Vision Motorsports car, going up against the lone NS Racing car, going up against 2 of American Motorsports cars and 2 Elijah Gordon Incorporated cars. It is a 7-horse fight for this race win. And then you get to 8th on back. There's Braden Perez getting by the number 9 of Reagan Whitlock. You also have Andrew Ramsey looking to do the same thing, trying to get by this 9 of Whitlock. That would be for the 9th position. And then just outside of the top 10, you also got Wyatt Walker, who checking in with them. Last time we checked in, he was 13th, and unfortunately he's lost 4 positions, now finds himself in the 17th position. So things going a little bit south here for Wyatt Walker in the 19 team. Same can be said for CG Holt in the 17. So they find themselves a little bit deeper in the field than what they were hoping for here for this race, especially to close this one out. But up at the front of the field, it is Zachary Fitzwater who has the race lead on lap 177, 176 laps complete. We're coming to 23 laps to go this time by, and Campbell Marsh getting around the number 6 of Steidel. And now looking to set his sights on the 98 of Fitzy, who takes it downstairs on Caleb Rose and Tanner Parton. Not the best position, not the best decision really on Fitzy's part, but it might pay off actually, as he manages to stay alongside the 38 of Marsh and is still going to use that momentum to blast right on by Rose and Sumner. 3 wide over here. As Campbell Marsh still trying to hang on and stay right within the tire tracks of the 98 of Fitzy. Ryan Little also trying to stay within the tire tracks of Campbell Marsh. Kyle Craven still up here as well. And the bad news is also for Terry Walker and Emily Anderson, because of this slower traffic, they've lost a little bit of touch, but not enough to fully take them out of contention, because they are still within arm's reach, if you will. That is, unless if you move Caleb Rose out of the way. You also have Valkyrie Atikian up here, who is set to go yet another, or actually is actually set to go 1 lap down here very shortly. Fitzy, is he gonna make a move to the inside? No, not quite. Not quite there yet, but definitely will do so heading into turn number 1. And it looks like right about here, it's gonna be able to clear Hatikian. Campbell Marsh now looking to try to get around looking to try to get by the 23. So that would be 1 less car to get around, and then there would be 1 car left to get by. That would be the 98 of Fitzy. Ryan Little still waiting in the wings, along with, well, how about this? The 6 of Nia Steidel. Taking it downstairs, 3 wide. This is the fight for the 3rd position, even though Atikian is not in the mix for the win as far as contending for a race win, but she can still play spoiler to the party. Wait a minute, what in the world is going on with Fitzy? Fitzy just slowed way down, going through 3 and 4, and that opened the doors wide open for Campbell Marsh to drive away with the race lead. And how about this? Nia Steidel down to the inside. 15 laps of racing to go. And there goes the 6 of Steidel to take over the top spot. Both of the American Motorsports cars are now going to fight it out here for the 2nd position. Advantage, give it to the 28 of Kyle Craven, as now he moves up into the 2nd spot. And wait just a minute. Hold the phone. I thought we were going to be done with pit stops, but that is not going to be the case. Fitzy, Terry Walker, they're definitely not going to have enough to make it. Let's see if it's going to be a tire and fuel stop. It is going to be tires. So I thought they were going to have, that was their last stop on lap 149, lap 150. Not the case here. Giacomo's going to come back out onto the racetrack. Caleb Rose already picking up speed as he makes his way back out on the racetrack. Let's see if there are any other takers that are coming on in. So far, nobody. Fitzy and Terry Walker were really the only 2 that came down pit road, along with Ray Atikian. What in the world? Unless if some of these other drivers were stretching it out, or if that is exactly what they're doing, I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. Meanwhile, Campbell Marsh and Nia Steidel, they're duking it out for the lead, heading back into turns 1 and 2. Advantage, Marsh. Now let's see. I don't think... Actually, yeah, Andrew Miller making his way back out on the racetrack. That is such a bizarre thing to even look at. 10 to go. I didn't even think that pit stops were going to be a factor, especially this late in the going. But this is actually kind of interesting. A lot of these drivers, they're actually looking to stretch this out, if you will. So we might have ourselves a very interesting fight to the finish. Craven trying to get by the 6 of Seidel. And now going to try to set his sights on the race lead. Here comes Kyle Craven underneath of Campbell Marsh. Dead heat of the stripe. Advantage, Marsh heading back into turn 1. Steidel waiting in the wings just in case if anything happens. To the front 2 as Craven is going to assume the top position heading through turn number 3 and 4. How about Valkyrie Atikin playing spoiler to this little party that the leaders are currently having up at the front of the field. 7 to go. Looks like one car, I think, tried to take it all the way downstairs. I think almost hit the grass. That might have been Ray Atikian, who was just trying to get out of the leader's way. And here comes Campbell Marsh once again for the top spot. 6 to go. Marsh edges him out once more. What if Campbell Marsh is trying to set up for this race win? It could very well be the case, but you never quite know. Marsh holds on to that top position, but don't look now. Here comes Ryan Little in the number 27 in tow with 5 laps of racing to go here in Minnesota. This is gonna get very interesting as they come on down to the wire. 4 to go. How about Ray Atikian? Remember, Atikian is on 4 fresh tires, so he's able to get by some of these guys without an issue. But again, I wonder if pit stops are going to affect the finish of this race. It definitely did affect the finish of both Fitzy and Terry Walker, as they were the only 2 cars that came on down pit road. Everybody else is just stretching it out and just going for fumes, and they're doing everything that they can to try to finish this race without even having to make one final pit stop. And I'm not sure how well that's going to go. Both of the American Motorsports cars fighting it out for the top position. They come to 2 to go this time by. And Kyle Craven assumes the race lead, coming to 2 to go. He takes the top position just now a third of a second away from the 38 of Campbell Marsh. Nia Steidel is going to go after Marsh for the second position, but they work their way through turns 3 and 4. The white flag flies. 1 lap to go from here at Minnesota. Craven leads it. Will he be leading coming back to the checkers? Let's find out. It's a third of a second gap between himself and Nia Steidel, and it's all going to come down to turns 3 and 4. Not going to be the case. The deal is sealed, and American Motorsports is going to victory lane, and it's Kyle Craven winning the M&M's 400 from here in Minnesota. How about that finish right there? Steidel's going to come home in the second position. Campbell Marsh in third, finishing in fourth. That would be Braden Perez. Andrew Ramsey completes the top 5, followed by Ryan Little in 6th. Then in 7th is the 9 machine of Reagan Whitlock. Emily Anderson 8th. Stephen Cologne 9th. And rounding out your top 10, that is Aaron Abel in the 43. What a night it has been for these Pepsi Cup Series stars. One caution, surprisingly enough. I'm actually kind of shocked that there was only 1 yellow, but they kept it clean and green the rest of the way, other than that spin that Valkyrie Atikin had just a little bit ago. But thankfully that didn't bring out a caution, and she was able to get the car refired and rolling back into the pits, which was obviously the original intention. But you take a look at the rest of your results right there, and Terry Walker finishing in the 28th position. Not the best finishing spot, but might just be enough to keep that points gap between himself and Russell Blaze, but it might have opened up just a little bit more. But if I do go back and take a look at some of the other point standings, if you will, from The last race at Darlington, Skylar Taylor also finished in the third, well, was third in points, and they ended up finishing 19th. So we could see a new player in town when it comes to that points fight. But you'll know what the points look like once they get released in the WRLA Discord. So be sure to keep an eye out for those points when they release. And that's going to do it here for tonight's action here at the Minnesota Motorsports Park. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching this fantastic race here for the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. We'll be back next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Quaker State 400. That one's going to be a doozy, and we hope you guys are able to tune into that. If you guys like this, if you're watching live on Twitch, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss a future stream. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you guys like this, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that pretty much does it for us. One more time, congratulations to Kyle Craven for going to victory lane for American Motorsports here in Minnesota Motorsports Park. Their first since Al Lagasse at Charlotte in 2020. That's going to do it for us. Take care. Have yourselves a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Have a good one, yo.